Hi guys, it's Wilma. Welcome to my video. In today's video, I'm gonna be making some art that is inspired by a vacation that I took at the beginning of July. I went to the beach with my boyfriend and his family, and we stayed in a beach house for a week, and it was super lovely. I love the beach so much, and I always feel really inspired when I'm there, and I love the beach so much. And I only made like one sketchbook spread in this tiny sketchbook when I was there. Well, it wasn't even a spread, it was more like 2 pages. So I feel like I didn't really make enough art when I was there, and I needed to redeem myself. So in today's video, I'm gonna be making some art that is inspired by that vacation so that I can redeem myself. And I've just been very into turning memories into art lately, and this is gonna be one of those videos where I do that. So yeah, I hope that you'll enjoy, and let's get into the art making. So the first page that I made that was inspired by my vacation was of this ice cream that I got when me and my boyfriend took a day trip to Cape May. So Cape May is like at the bottom of New Jersey, and we stayed in Ocean City, which is like a little bit further up. I think the drive might have been like 40 minutes, around 40 minutes ish. But yeah, once we got there, we just walked around. The reason we wanted to go there was because they had a Swedish store, and if you don't know, I am Swedish. It ended up being pretty disappointing. They had like a few good things, but nothing special, so that was a little bit disappointing, but at least I got a ice cream out of it. So I wanted to draw this obviously just as like a memory, and I thought it would be a cute drawing to make. I will be honest, I didn't really enjoy the process of it too much. It was just like very repetitive to draw it, especially like the waffle cone. That was just like, oh my god, when is this gonna end? Even though like it didn't take that long to draw it, but yeah, wasn't the greatest thing ever, but I'm still happy that I did it because I really do love the outcome of it. So it was not the most fun subject to draw, but it's fine. Like, I really enjoy how it turned out in the end, so that's what matters. And it's just like a nice memory to have in my sketchbook and to be able to look back on it. And I've been doing a lot of stuff, like turning a lot of memories into art lately, so I thought that I would talk a little bit about that and how I feel about it. It's been so much fun to turn memories into art, and by that I mean like I'll take a photo and then I'll draw that photo, and then I'll have like a specific memory connected to the photo that I took. And maybe it's like from a vacation, like in this video, or sometimes I'll do more mundane things like I did in my other video where I basically just drew like iced coffee from Dunkin'. But it's been so much fun to turn my own photos into art and to be able to look back at my own photos being turned into art, because this is not something that I really used to do in the past. I used to be very much like, I want to draw pretty photos and I don't know how to take pretty photos, or I don't have enough confidence in myself, so I'm just gonna look up something on Pinterest. Like, that's how I used to make art. I feel like I can't really see myself doing that right now, even though the only time I do that is if it's like something that I literally can't find a reference photo of anywhere else. For example, if it's like an animal, like a tiger or something that no one else would have a photo of. But anyway, yeah, I have been loving painting my own photos. I feel like it gives you a lot of confidence when you do that, because you realize that you're in control of everything. You're the one who's making the art, you're the one who took the reference photo of the art. It's just like incredible, and I love it. And I'm also like, I don't want to use other people's photos because of a few reasons, but mainly because it's like, it's not my photo. I feel like I shouldn't be drawing other people's photos unless it's like an actual royalty-free photo that someone would allow me to draw. But if it's just like a random photo that I have no idea where it came from, I probably shouldn't draw it. And it's also just like so much more special when you're drawing your own photo, because as I said, you're the one who took it and you have specific memories connected to it. And even if it's not even like a specific memory, even if it's just like a photo that you took that you were like, I'm gonna take this solely so I can make art out of it, that is still so special. The fact that everything is coming from you and you only, you're making the art and taking the reference photos. Especially really special to be able to look back at the art like this, where I have like specific memories connected to what I've made art of. Because when I look at it, I like go back to the memory and the moment where I took the photo and when I experience what I'm making art of, and there's just like nothing like that. It's just like the most special thing ever, and I really enjoy it. But yeah, as I said earlier, the process of this wasn't that much fun, especially when I was doing the ice cream. Like when I got to the hand, I was like, okay, this is getting fun now. Like this is my thing. Because if you didn't know, I love to draw hands and I'm big on making art of people and humans and stuff like that. So I do a lot of portraits and I do also do a lot of just like standalone hand drawings. So once I got to that point, I was like, okay, this is fun now. And I just like love being able to incorporate a lot of colors into skin tones. I think that is the most fun thing ever. And so when I was done with painting the ice cream, I was like, thank freaking God, I can move on to doing something that I actually enjoy. The tissue, or like, what's it called, the napkin that was around the ice cream, that was so difficult to draw, and I was like, I'm not enjoying a second of this. But yeah, as I said, once I was able to get to that hand, I was fine. I was like, this is my thing. And then for the background, I added a pale yellow background inspired by a sequel spread that I had done before this, where I used that color for the background. I realized how pretty I think it is when I did that, so I added that for the background, and then I added some text around the ice cream to just like make it even more obvious when this photo was taken and like the specific memory connected to it. It's not just an ice cream that I had, like it's an ice cream that I had in Cape May. And then something else that I decided to do for this drawing was to add a border around the whole thing. So this is something that I've seen a lot of artists do lately, and I'm really like hesitant towards drawing trendy things, which is so stupid honestly, because I'm just like, when I see someone do something, I'm like, okay, that means that I can't do that because they've already done it and I need to be original. But it's like I forget that I can be inspired by other people and artists, and that is totally fine as long as you're not like copying someone, obviously. That's where the inspiration came from with doing this border. Specifically, I had been watching a Tiny Little Egg video. I love their art so much, and they posted a sketchbook tour where I saw this piece they had made with a border around the art that they had made, and it just like inspired me so much. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do that on this piece because I love the idea and the concept, and I need to stop being afraid of doing ideas that a lot of other people are already doing. And I'm super happy with how this turned out. Even though the process wasn't like the most fun, I am still happy because I really love the end result and just the whole thing in general. I really enjoy it, even though the process sucked, kind of.
See how the leaves are green, growing bigger than my hand. You know that when they fall again, I'll be back from where I've been, coming back from where I've been. $2 bill left in a drawer. Wish I had.
So when it was time to make the other page inspired by my vacation, me and my boyfriend had went back to the beach that we went to vacation on. like 2 days before I started this spread, so I kind of like got the feel of the beach again and felt super inspired and ready to draw this next page inspired by the vacation. So this one is of a lifeguard stand at the beach, and I kept seeing this throughout the week and I wanted to make art of it so bad, but I wasn't gonna do it at the beach because there was a lot of detail to it and I didn't come on vacation to work and make a lot of art. So I decided that this would be something that I would make art of once I had returned from vacation, and that I did. I've never made any art like this one before. I've never done like a lifeguard stand or anything like that, and I usually don't do a lot of figures in my art like the people here. I usually do more like portrait stuff, which is just like a close-up of a person's face with a lot of their facial features and whatnot. But it's not often that I get to do just like figures of people, like not even their face in it, but it's still a person. Obviously it's a person, but I'm not doing like any details of a face or anything like that, and that's just very uncommon, I guess, in my art since I do portraits. So I was excited to try something new. Not that it's like new, I've definitely done it before, but I just don't do it frequently and haven't done it a lot. So yeah, that's what I meant by new. Anyway, yeah, I was really excited to make art of this. As I said, had kept seeing these throughout the week of being in Ocean City, and I really wanted to draw one because, first of all, I think that these like lifeguard stands are so cool, and I kept imagining how fun it would be to make art of one, and I definitely was right about that. It was a lot of fun. Some of the details were kind of hard, like when I had to do some of the writing on the stand. That was pretty difficult because the text was very small. It was a pretty small drawing because I was doing it in my sketchbook, so I only had so much room to play with. So it was a little bit difficult to get like some of the smaller details right. And my initial plan for this drawing was to do it in gouache paint, but I had been using gouache paint a lot in my sketchbook at the point of making this, so I was just like really tired of paint and the mess that you have to clean up and just like the technique in general. I just wanted to do something different, but I still wanted it to be easy, and colored pencils is a technique that I've worked with a lot, so I figured that that's what I would use since I'm comfortable with the technique, and it would just be like less messy than paint, and it just felt right. And I'm really happy that I did this because it was very efficient. It felt super nice to work in colored pencil again, even though I had just done the ice cream on the previous page in colored pencils, but that wasn't like, I don't know, that felt different because it was just like one thing compared to this was like a whole scene. And I didn't end up doing the whole scene in colored pencils because that would have been just like a bit too difficult. The whole sky would have been so difficult to do, not difficult, but just like a lot of effort to do in colored pencils because it was a lot of space to cover, and I wanted this to just like be fun and efficient. So for the sky in the background, I ended up using gouache paint, and then I also used it for the water and for the sand. I really thought that this drawing was going to be difficult for me to make since it was something that I hadn't really done before. I don't really do a lot of like, I don't even know what to call this thing, like this type of art, but I guess like a kind of like a scenery thing or whatever. I just don't really do that stuff. I feel like I'm more like, I do like one subject, like a face or like one animal. I usually don't do a whole scene with like a background and a subject, so it was a bit out of my comfort zone, but as you might be aware of, I've really been enjoying stepping out of my comfort zone lately, so it was definitely a good thing. I thought that I was going to have a harder time making this than I did. The only part that was really difficult for me was to figure out how to paint the sand, which we're gonna get into a little bit later. But yeah, for the water, as you can tell, I was just using gouache paint, and I tried to not put in too much detail. I wanted to keep it kind of simple, and I feel like something that's been important for me in my art lately has been to eliminate certain details. Like, you don't have to add every single detail that you're seeing in a photo. You only have to add the ones that make sense. So that made it pretty easy for me to paint the water. I feel like water is such a intimidating thing to paint, and I never really know where to begin with it, because you're like, how do I even do this at all? Like, I literally never know where to start or what to do. But I mean, I think I don't know, but then when I actually do it, I'm like, okay, this wasn't so bad. So the water went really great. I had a lot of fun with that and painting that. But yeah, then as I got to the sand, I was like, I have absolutely no idea how to draw or paint this sand at all. So at first I did a gouache base, and I was like, maybe I'll just add a bunch of detail with the gouache paint, but that didn't really work. It just looked super messy. And then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna make the whole sand like one plain color and maybe that will be okay. But obviously that's not what sand looks like. There's a lot of detail in sand, and the photo was just like overwhelming me so much, and I was so lost. I was like, I have no idea how to do this, but eventually I did figure it out. So my approach to it was that I decided to focus on the value and not as much on the detail. So I did the darks and the lights, and then I would add, like, in the end I would add more smaller details, if that makes sense. And I tried to like step back from the paper and just look at the values, and that was really helpful. And I'm really happy that I didn't end up leaving it just like a plain color, and I'm happy that I actually added some detail because it looked really weird when there wasn't really any detail. And then I added a shovel and some people in the water, and I think that really pulled the piece together. I think adding those small details can sometimes make a huge difference. So I'm really happy that I did that. And yeah, that's pretty much that page. I'm super happy with how that turned out. Throughout my whole week of being in Ocean City, I had been wanting to draw this. So I was really excited and had a lot of fun when I was finally able to do it when I came back home. So here's the sketchbook spread. I love how this whole thing turned out. I think it looks really good. I think these look really good together. Out of the both of them, I definitely enjoyed this one more. It has like just a lot more going on, and it was more fun to paint that one and draw it compared to this. This was just kind of like boring to make, honestly, but I do love the outcome of this one, so it was definitely worth it. But it wasn't that much fun to draw. I do love this border that I made on this. I think it turned out so cute, and I love all the colors. I think they go really well together, and yeah, I'm super happy with both of these drawings. But as I said, I enjoyed doing this one more just because there's more going on in it. And lately I've been like really, I guess, like surprising myself, you could say, because I thought, just like if you watched my last video, I made this and I thought that this was gonna be really difficult, and it was a struggle. But this one I also thought it was gonna be difficult. Hold on, I need to sneeze. Oh god. Okay, I'm good, I think. I thought this was gonna be really complicated just because there's like so much going on, but the decision to do certain parts in gouache paint, like the sky and the water here, made it a lot easier. And then the sand, I kind of like had to just figure out a good way to do that, and it turned out to be really fun. And I didn't really have like any parts that I struggled with because I allowed myself to use a lot of different mediums to do this, which just made it a lot easier, because sometimes I push myself to only use one medium, and that makes it really difficult because like a certain part could be easier to do with a different medium, like for example the sky in this drawing or painting, whatever you want to call it. So doing that in gouache paint made it a lot easier compared to if I would have like done that in colored pencils. Oh my god, that would have been a lot of effort and taken a lot of time. Overall, super happy with the both of them. I love how they both turned out. This one was more fun to make, but that's okay. Yeah, it was just so much fun to make some art inspired by my vacation, and I'm super happy to have these pieces in my sketchbook to be able to look back on. I hope to be able to do more stuff like that whenever I go somewhere and have like an experience that I enjoy and do something that I love. I really hope that you enjoyed watching this video, and if you stayed until the end, thank you. That's it. Have a good day. Take care. Goodbye.